Hey guys, it's Phil coming in with you another video. I know it's before the week, but I had a lot of time today due to the weather in Michigan is pretty bad, so I just wanted to get a video out to you guys. So today I'm not going to really be going over practice questions, so if that's what you guys were looking for, I apologize. That'll be in the next one. I just want to make sure that I get some information out, because I've been getting a lot of questions of like what are things that I should know going into the exam, as well as what are things to help make my prep more successful. So before I get to any of that, since it is a shorter week before I made my video, there are not as many people that passed this week. However, there were people that did pass. So Sheila passed, as well as Denise, and those people have been holding me down, watching my videos, as well as attending some of the study groups. So congrats to those people. And again, if you do pass using my stuff, just tag me on Facebook or just send me an email directly, and I can give you a shout out as appropriate. And those that have been supporting me, I appreciate everything that you guys do. It's amazing to me how many people are now supporting, attending the study groups, reaching out to me for assistance and stuff like that. It still blows my mind, because I'm still just an average dude trying to help as many people as I possibly can. So with that being said, let's get into this. And since it's more of like a open forum type thing, it's a lot different, so I'm not going to get on a tangent at the beginning. So again, I do offer private tutoring, so if you're interested, my email is berda24@gmail.com. However, do keep in mind that my schedule is now starting to book out a week in advance to a week and a half. So if you are interested, make sure that your exam is at appropriate timing. I feel bad people reaching out saying, hey, I want this, and then I'm not able to really accommodate with that. However, I'm been making the attempts, because I do like helping as many people as I can. And then a different way that I've been kind of doing it is announcing study groups ahead of time. So the next 3 study groups are as follows. So February 3rd, which is this Sunday, is going to be on diversity considerations, and with the extra time, I'm thinking about just going over practice questions, so that way people have exposure to that, because you guys tend to love those. So I just listen to whatever feedback you guys have for me and go from there. And then 210, which is the day after my birthday, is Freudian theory and defense mechanisms. And then 217 is the DSM-5. It was a suggestion that we did in the study group, but we don't really have the disorders chosen yet. So if you have a disorder that you're trying to get more information on, like what is helpful to identify it, let me know, because I'm open to whatever you guys think and feel. So yeah. So the first consideration that I would pose to you guys, and people often struggle with this, is avoid information overload. We see it all the time. There are tons of prep programs. There are tons of information out there. There's tons of practice questions. However, don't get so tied on what information you need. Like, first thing that people typically do when they fail or they feel like they're not performing as well as they'd like to, they reach out to more information. They're like, oh my God, I need to get this book, or I need to get this study question, or oh my God, I need to join Phil's study group, or I need to do this, I need to do that. Breathe, guys. Sometimes the least amount of information is the best amount of information. Find what works for you, tag onto it, and go from there. But some of you may be saying, Bill, I already have all the information. What do I do? So my biggest suggestion in this is to look through what you currently have, see what explains it the best, and set aside the stuff that is just supplemental to that. You don't need to find out 3 different ways to explain, let's say, Piaget's or Freudian theory. Find what works for you, tag onto it, and just set it into the materials that you will be utilizing. There's no disrespect or anything on if anyone's not using materials. Remember, this is your journey, your mission. You're going to have a ton of people telling you a ton of different things on what to do. Find out what specifically is what you need. Because there are people that have 3 different books, 3 subsets, 10 different practice exams, and they're like, I did poorly on this practice exam, but I'm doing well on this one. Which one weighs heavier? None of them. Why? Because the exam that you're going to get is the one that you're going to get in the exam room. No practice questions, the ones that I make, Shin makes, TDC has, etc. are not similar to the exam per se. We're just giving our best guess and shot at it. So avoid information overload, which leads me into my next one, which I feel like is the absolute biggest suggestion. So if you stick to one suggestion out of this video, it's okay to get questions wrong. Like, it's okay. We're not perfect. This is not a collegiate level course. No one's going to get a 4.0 when they walk into the exam. You're not going to walk into an employer and they're going to say, "What'd you get on the exam?" And you're like, "Oh, well, I only got 1 point over passing. Get out of here. I want someone that scored 20 over." No! Like, this is all based on pass and fail. And same thing. It's okay to get a question wrong. Like, God forbid, like, you're going through practice questions and you get one wrong. Take what information you can and what semantics you might have missed, but that's all right. I get stuff wrong. You'll get stuff wrong. The person that may be helping you is getting stuff wrong. So give yourself permission to do that, because it makes it so much easier to just be able to say, "Wow, I got that wrong. How did I get it wrong? If I see something similar, what could I do in the future?" But remember, no question is the exact same as the exam you'll get. So give yourself permission to get things wrong. Don't get down on yourself and discouraged, because we're all in the same boat of learning at different capacities, and sometimes it may take more tries for you to understand what the question is asking you, but that's why it's called practice. Within practice becomes comfort. The more you practice, the more acquainted you get, the faster you'll get, as well as the easier you'll be able to break things down. So it's okay. And a lot of people that I work with, they're like, "Are you sure it's okay?" Yes, because it could be one of the 20 practice questions on the exam. Because those that don't know, this exam is 170 questions, only 150 count towards your score. So if you're in the exam room and you're like, "I don't know this answer, I'm totally gonna fail," calm yourself down, say it's okay if I get this question wrong, because depending on the version of the exam you get, let's say you get the 106 version, you get 54 that you can entirely get wrong, and that's all right. So give yourself permission to that. Like, the majority of people that I work with that pass give themselves permission to do so, because they're more excited when they walk in the exam room rather than a gun to type head. Like, yes, we all are striving and driving and wanting to be the best versions of ourselves, but I feel every single day I make mistakes, you'll make mistakes, but the mistakes are how we get experience and proficiency and expertise behind us. The third suggestion as well is, this is going to be a long process, but it is not impossible. Like, it may feel like, "I've done this, I've failed, it's a long process." Bear for it. Tell yourself, this is how long I'm going to go through it, and it makes it so much easier. Like, when you have clarity and comfort around what you're doing, that's why I tell people, snipe down an exam date immediately. Like, if you're watching this video and you don't have an exam date, snipe it down. Why? One, it locks you in a day. Two, you have a sense of accountability behind you, not to raise anxiety, but it's like, "Oh, I know that in 30 days I'm going to have my exam. Okay, what can I do for the next 30 days that's going to get me closer to passing this bad cat?" But let's say I tell myself, I will schedule my exam when I'm ready. What does ready look like? It varies person to person. You wouldn't walk in and work with a client and say, how about we discharge you when you're ready? We have to be specific on what our goals are and what our timelines look like. So when we have a predictable set of measures as well as what we're trying to go for, it's easier to reach the goal. However, know that it's not impossible. Whether you fail the exam or you pass it, it's inevitable whether it's going to happen or not. So within that, like, telling yourself, like, this is my 4th exam attempt is only going to defeat yourself. Tell yourself, this is my first attempt for the 4th time. Meaning, no exam is the same, so if it was the same exam and you kept failing it, yes, it'd be your 4th time. However, it's the 4th unique exam you're going to have, so it's your first time facing that in particular exam. So telling yourself that and being kind to yourself while preparing for this is going to make it so much easier to be able to settle down and figure out what works for you and hone through in what your style looks like. And then the fourth one, and I get it all the time, do I need a prep program? And my answer to this, long pause. No, you do not need a prep program. You do not need to go out and grab TDC. You do not have to go and grab social work to social work. You don't have to sign up for my study groups. Find what works for you. Meaning, I've had people that have only watched my videos in the past. I've had people that do individual tutoring in the past. I've had people that have gone to my study groups and failed. I've had people come to my study groups and fail as well. Like, there's no one size fits all. And you'll hear people say, I have a 99% pass rate. Show me the statistics. Show me how many times it actually took that person to pass for it to do it. So avoid people trying to sell you immediately. Like, you'll have people like, man, this is the perfect thing, or you should drink honey before your exam because that's what I did. Avoid that. You don't need a prep program. You don't need any materials. I've had people that have just had a graduate program and then they just walked in the exam and passed it. So, do you need one? No. Is it advised? Possibly, depending on where you're at and what you basically need and have. Because there are people that have TDC, that have social work to social work, that have social work text prep. Then they come in and do my study groups, and then they reach out for me to individual tutoring. I'm like, what do you need? Do you need to buy another prep program? No. Like, look through what you have. Again, go back to suggestion number 1. Information overload is also a bad thing. Meaning, if you have too many ways of figuring things out, it just becomes even more overwhelming. But figure out what works for you. So, like, there's not one better prep program. There's no one better approach to passing this exam. But you'll often see people that will either they're incentivizing and or they feel like they're doing good by suggesting things such as that, which it can be. It can be helpful. Yes. Is it a necessity? Absolutely not. Again, going back to this is your prep, no one else's. What fits and works for you is not going to fit and work for someone else. So you do not need one. However, it could be helpful. When getting and looking into it, though, you need to know what you're looking for. So, like, a little small synopsis, like if you're looking for something that has a lot of information and you get study groups and stuff along with that, go to social work to social work. If you want a ton of practice questions and audios as well, you have TDC up the line. And then if you're looking for more like tailored type stuff, then, like I said, my study groups or other avenues like that. Try to avoid people that are just out to satisfy their own need and purpose within that. And the fifth one is, which has been a theme throughout this, no exam is similar to another. Meaning, let's say I walk in and took my exam and I had a ton of ethics questions. It'd be almost disheartening if I told people, make sure you know your ethics, and then you have someone else that was like, man, mine was all on natural disasters, so make sure you know your natural disasters, but you don't need to know meds. But then you walk in and then all of yours is meds and medical. It's a good to know like common type themes and like structure, but that's why I always emphasize on formatting. So the biggest thing that I tell people is to make sure you are okay with having structure in routine. Meaning, regardless of the question, regardless of the content, regardless of whatever, anything is going on, you will know what to expect. So the only main thing that the exam is similar on is that there's 170 questions, 20 pre-test, and 150 scored. So that is one guarantee that will automatically tell you that you can expect when going in and seeing the exam. Like, you look at it, I know there's going to be 170 questions on it, 20 pre-tests, 150 scored. What is the best routine that I can identify so that way when I walk into the exam and try to break down the questions, I will be better prepared and acquainted to help and assist with that. So yes, it's good to talk with people about questions that they've seen or struggles that they're experiencing and tailor it to your specific thing, but do not go based on what everyone else says what they had on their exam. Yes, they might have passed doing one thing and seeing the other, but know that your exam could be different than theirs. Their exam is different than yours is going to be. So with that, we just have to know and expect different things based on our experiences, which goes back to my theme. No one's prep should look similar to your prep, because your prep is based on what you need. So there are people that are really, really good test takers. There are people that are really, really bad test takers. There are people that know their knowledge a whole bunch. And there's people that don't know the knowledge at all. There's people that know how to break down the questions. There's people that don't know how to break down the questions. So finding what works for you is going to be best to better acquaint it. So with that, it's very difficult to know how to prepare for this unless you know yourself. So a lot of things that we need to do is to identify what our learning styles are and find ways that line up with that. So for example, like my videos are mostly acquainted towards people that are audio learners, visual learners, not really for the like tactile, because you're not really touching the videos unless you're taking notes and like writing down feedback along the way. But people that need that like a direct exposure to that, that's why the tutoring is an option. Like I teach you directly how to apply and utilize the techniques within that. But know that tips that I say, tips that anyone else says, tips that people suggest, content areas aren't going to be 100% guaranteed on your exam. So be aware of what you put your money and bargain into, and know that whatever you feel is needed within your prep, to trust yourself and get what you need out of that. And my sixth suggestion, I know I was only going to do 5, but I'm feeling it. Like accommodations are available, meaning if you have a second language, like if English isn't your first language, you can apply for accommodations. If you have hella anxiety that is documented by a psychiatrist or a doctor, you can get those too. So what does that look like? You just go through your licensing board for your state, apply for them. Some of them are more stringent than others to get. However, what can accommodations give you? 1 to 2 hours of extra time. Like a snack if needed. Like most exams, if you don't have accommodations, you can't bring food, you can't bring drink, you can't do anything like that. But if you have accommodations, you get 1 to 2 extra hours, depending on what severity and stuff like that. You can get a snack if you need it, as well as like you can get a paper and pen test if that's something that you need. Meaning, a lot of people don't know about accommodations. They're like, man, I ran out of time. Okay, well, did you think about accommodations? They're like, what are accommodations? Meaning, the more you know, the better off you are to be able to utilize the things that are available to you. And with that, with all of these suggestions, I can't possibly give all of the insight that I have or what would be needed to pass the exam. And if you have somebody that says this is 100% needed to pass the exam, they're most likely lying to you, because unless you're ASWB, you entirely don't know of what you can do. Meaning, I don't write the test, no one else writes the test besides them. So there's no one size fits all of like, if you do this, you'll pass, besides getting enough answers correct on your exam to get the number needed. Like, there's no magical phrase or anything that you need to write on your whiteboard, or there's no like one size fits all. So with that, those are the 6 suggestions, not 5, that I have that you should know before and or during to create a prep that is strong. So just to bring it all back together, avoid having too much information, meaning if you feel overwhelmed to look at all the information you have, you probably have too much. Like, it's like hoarding information, bad move. Like, too much information can just trip you up and make you feel disassociated with who you are and where you're at. Second one, it's okay to get things wrong. When you get something wrong, encourage yourself and say, okay, this is the information that I gained from this. And I'm glad that I didn't just rush through and not look at why I got it incorrect, or wow, I'm glad that I got this incorrect, because if I saw this on the exam, I might have got tripped up. The third, prepare for the long haul, meaning there are going to be some days that you don't feel like doing it. There's going to be times you feel unmotivated. Just give yourself the grace and say like, okay, I'm doing the best that I can with what I have, and this will be enough to help guide me through where I'm at. The fourth, do you need a prep program? No, you do not. However, it could be helpful, but if you have information and are comfortable with what you have, go with it. You'll stay more competent within the exam. Fifth one, no exam similar, so don't not base what your exam is going to look like based on what someone else had or what you heard is going to be on the exam, because it's only going to be based on what your exam is going to be. So prepare for the structure and routine within the exam, whether that's deep breath before every exam, positive affirmation before every question, using the acronym, breaking down the questions on your whiteboard, etc. And then the sixth one, if you need accommodations, apply for them, because there's no shame, no harm, no foul on getting what you need or what needs that you have to make it an even playing field for you. And again, I'm going to be having study groups on February 3rd, February 10th, and February 17th. February 3rd, this Sunday, the diversity considerations and practice questions. February 10th, Freudian theory and defense mechanisms. And then the 17th, DSM-5. And those that rock with me and watch this thing to the end, there is going to be a reward for you guys. If you buy admission into one of the groups on the 3rd or the 10th, because it's my birthday, I want to give back to you guys. You can bring a friend absolutely free. However, you have to put "I am powerful," that phrase, in the email, as well as who you're bringing, so that way we are able to know who and what. Watch the video to the absolute end. And that's my way of giving back to you guys and showing appreciation within that. And again, type the phrase "I am powerful" as well as the person's name that you want to bring. Comment any feedback that you guys have on the video. Do you like these suggestions? Do you not like these suggestion videos? Hit the thumbs up button underneath the video to show that you like it, and just makes it easier for me to stay motivated, as well as know that the content I'm releasing that you guys like, as well as subscribe to my channel if you've not already, because you'll get an email notification as well as insight on my channel otherwise. And yeah, thank you guys all for coming, and I appreciate the support. You guys make it super duper easy to keep making videos and promoting and helping. My challenge to you guys this week is to do something nice for yourself, whether that's get more sleep, whether that's get yourself some extra treat like a coffee or a sweet, or maybe it's a special opportunity, take some time off, etc. Because the better you are to yourself, the better results that you'll have when doing what you need to do. So with that, I'm out of here, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.